anyways. Okay, I'm recording. Do you
Yeah,
see me?
got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Yep.
Okay, I think we're cool.
So,
Yeah, great. Okay, this is Discovery. My name is David Irwin. I'm your host today, and Rocco Tullio of Rock Developments and the Oshawa Generals is our guest today. You know, like everything in life, there's a price of admission for our guests. It comes in the form of providing viewers a transparent, and I know we're going to get that, and raw glimpse into their lives, and perhaps more importantly, into our own as they share and inspire. So Rocco is a commercial and residential multi-res developer here in Windsor, based in Windsor, but he works throughout Ontario. And he also owns the Oshawa Generals. He's the president of Rock Developments. I should say that first. And also the CEO of the Oshawa Generals and the governor. He founded the company, the Rock Developments in 2001, graduated with a business admin degree from St. Clair College. And on a personal note, and I think perhaps more importantly, he may agree with this, knowing Rocco, that he has deep family roots and influenced from his mom and dad in a very deep way. And I know he's going to weigh in on that a bit today. Anyways, as I said before, he built his company up from the sticks, and it's kind of a metaphor. He's in the construction business, and Rocco is a man built the same way. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Rocco Tullio. Rocco, it's all yours, man.
thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to see you.
Great seeing you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. We'll talk about our bloopers in the future. Anyways, hey, bud, let's just dive right in. If you want to expand on that bio or do some retractions, because I think I left a lot of real cool stuff out, but we only have about 25 minutes here today based on schedules. That's fine. That's probably the listening tolerance of our audience. So it's good you're with us. I'm going to say this, little doubt there's much to unpack from your long journey to this point. So what about sharing the greatest moment of your varied and storied career, whether it be business, personal, or a combo?
Well, as you alluded to, family is the most important. So obviously having my three kids was something that was pretty, obviously probably the highlight of my life. From a business perspective, doing what you love to do is never work. So, I own a land development business, started out, very, very small, and built great relationships with a lot of great people, and they entrusted me with that. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a long grind. It's slow and steady, but that's fine. Nobody, as I say, shits gold on your lawn. You have to work for it, and you have to grind it out every day.
Right.
So, and I was fortunate enough from there to make some money where I was able to follow a passion dream of mine. I wasn't good enough to play, but was be able to buy an OHL hockey team in the Oshawa Generals, a storied franchise, and was able to win an OHL championship and a Memorial Cup. So there's a lot of highs. Hasn't been a lot of lows, but there's definitely been a lot of grinding and stressful times throughout those years of owning development business and obviously owning a hockey team. But I love what I do, and it's passionate. I'm passionate about those things, and for me, it's never about work. I love working every day because it's something new.
That's great. That was 2015 that you guys took the cup, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a timing issue too on a lot of things in life. Pretty well, you need to have all the cylinders firing, but timing is key. It reminds me of a little bit of a phrase. There's a tide in the affairs of men that, when taken at its flood, leads to fortune, or it can lead to disaster. In your case, it led to fortune. And it's not just financial, as you're alluding to, personal gratification and helping to grow people. So with that said, I want to shift gears here a little bit, Rocco, and jump over to what about the lowest point of your career? If it be a point or a series of events, but you understand what I'm saying there, personal or otherwise.
Yeah. I would say when I started doing land development, I don't know, probably 26, 27 years ago. And we were doing small stuff, and, I got into, I started out buying and selling property by the University of Windsor and fixing it up and creating equity and all that kind of stuff. Because I worked for the Bank of Montreal, so it was great because I was able to learn the ins and outs of financing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But on the same token, so that was really a good stepping stone for me. But as I wanted to grow the business, I remember my first big deal. I bought the corner of Manning and the Expressway, where my Sobeys is situated now, and I remember land was probably going for about 250,000, 275 an acre. And I put an offer in with Mario Valente at the time, who's passed away since, and I paid 350 an acre. And I remember a gentleman who was renowned developer in the area, and it got back to me. He was like, this kid's gonna, he's gonna go bankrupt. Who pays that kind of money? But little did he know I had Sobeys in my back pocket, and I had the LCBO and CIBC. So, I mitigated my risk. I just wasn't, a gunslinger going to buy land, and that was it. But I remember having everything, and I needed to come up with 2 point something million. And I'm like, I didn't have that. I had maybe a couple $100,000. And I was like, well, how am I going to get this? And I remember being shut down a lot. And I remember my dad coming in, and he's like, we'll figure it out. And I was like, you know what, I just need some time to myself to figure it out. And you know what, I was fortunate to be able to become friends with Jerry Lev, who at the time, that's what he did for a living. And he lent me the money to be able to, and I joined with my partners, Vito and Gasper Galifi, and we found a way to come up with the money. And, the next thing is, we've got a great development, and 15, 17 years later, it's a trophy site here in Essex County, and does extremely well. So, but the downtime was probably there. I can remember I was pretty stressed at the time. I went home, and Tegan was my youngest time, and she was probably a couple years old. And I can remember just, how am I going to get this deal done? I don't have the money to bridge this. And, it's hard for 31-year-old guys to go and convince somebody to lend them 2 point something million, but we were able to get it done. We used a lot of our own securities and our homes and whatnot because we believed in it. And what went from a negative to a positive was rather quick and short-lived. But in terms of any other ups and downs, I mean, it comes every day with ups and downs. But I always look at things. Tomorrow's another day. You hire the best possible people you can in those areas of expertise, and they have the reach and the power and the strength to bring you through the tough times. And and that's always been my philosophy. So, and the other philosophy is location, location, location. When you have great land location, you know what, it eases the stress because all the national tenants always want to come to those great locations. So really, aside from from that, really there hasn't been too many lows, thank God.
Yeah, that's cool. So, you took one could say it's a bet. It's not this isn't a Monte Carlo. You made a calculated decision, but nonetheless, it's pocked with a lot of uncertainties when you take that long stride. There's no question about it. So, kudos to you to do that. And that was probably, a crucible, a tipping point in your business development. And who knows where you would have been if you hadn't taken it. I'm sure you still would have.
Well, yeah, you know what? Not to cut you off. I worked for the Bank of Montreal, so I took the good things there, and I instilled them in my values of running my own business, and I took the things that I didn't like from the working at the Bank of Montreal, and I'm ensured that I don't incorporate those things. So I had some good life lessons and learning experience, but one of the biggest things was I had good family support. My dad was always around. He's still on the job site. He's 85 years old. He's always looking and making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do, and that kind of thing. And my mother works a couple of days at the office, front desk, and so we're small in terms of keeping our overhead in check, but we've been able to grow the business, and we push our staff hard because we have a lot going on, but we treat them exceptionally well, and it's been good thus far. Hopefully it'll continue.
Kind of resonates a little bit with the Buffett style. You empower people, they make decisions, protect reputational capital, don't strangle them with budgets and a whole bunch of other things. I mean, they need to be accountable to certain human capital factors, financial metrics and things like
Yeah.
that. But if you're running lean, which you are in that respect, it's a testament to your style of management and the people that are working for you, as I see it.
Well, fixed costs are your killers, right? I mean, and I got to make sure at the end of the day that, during the good times, it's great. But, when things get tough or slow down, you got to make sure at the end of the day, you got to be able to make those payments and make those ends meet. And so I've always been the philosophy that, fixed costs are your killer, and just make sure you keep those in check. And then the other philosophy I go by, which is Ray Kroc. I remember reading, I was doing a deal with McDonald's in Grand Bend, and I remember picking up and reading one of his quotes, and it was like, persistency pays. And that's always been one of my philosophies. I'm so persistent, I chafe, the people that I'm dealing with, but they also understand at the end of the day that I care, and it's me. And, one, getting the deal is one part, but building that relationship over time and making sure that when they need something over those 10 or 20 or 30 years that they have a lease with you, or 50 years, whatever is 100 years, you make sure that you service them. And that's what keeps them coming back. That's what builds your reputation. And that's what makes them stay longer. So we treat everybody like an extension of our family, whether you're in the hockey business, whether you're a player, or whether you work for me, or whether you're in the development business, or whether you're a tenant. I treat them exact same I would treat my family.
It's nice. So it seems like you were true to you no matter come what may, we had talked about before. You had a great foundation. Can you talk about your mom and dad a little bit? We don't have too much time, but love to have you weigh in. And if that's all we accomplish to here today, I know that's the whole story.
Yeah, no, they've always been great. I mean, they've always taught us the value, my sister and I, the value of hard work. At the end of the day, nobody's going to give you anything. And you know what? You can't feel sorry for yourself. Life is good. You got to make the best of it every day. I mean, the most important things for me in life that my parents instilled is obviously health, which, you want good health. Number two is family and friends. And those are the ones that are your true friends and your family are going to be the ones that are going to be standing next to you during the tough times. There's a lot of people that will, talk the talk, but they won't walk the walk. So they instill that you got to outwork people. You got to work hard. You got to stay to your values. You got to, I don't cheat anybody out of a dollar, but I hold them to whatever they've got, whatever they got to do in the lease, or whatever they've got to do in the development, whether it's build it, follow the drawings and all that. And at the end of the day, my responsibility is to pay those bills. And we always do, but I don't cheat people out of money. It's not worth it at the end of the day. I got, three beautiful, young, healthy kids, and my